Jordan Love and Micah Parsons were the stars of Green Bay's Thanksgiving win, but Evan Williams has quickly emerged as a force on Jeff Hafley's defense. Williams was all over the field against the Detroit Lions, racking up 9 total tackles and a pair of tackles in the backfield in some pivotal moments for Green Bay's defense. That now gives Williams 80 total tackles, 4 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions on the year. However, just like it's been all season, Williams' impact is felt well beyond the stat sheet in this defense. What's funny is that even the most bullish Packers fans wouldn't have realistically expected Williams to be such an impact player so quickly, especially in just his second NFL season. But that's kind of always been the case for Williams throughout his football career. Williams was a 3-star recruit out of Mountain View, California, with a handful of Division I offers before committing to Fresno State, allowing him to stay closer to home. After 4 years with the Bulldogs, including all Mountain West honors in his final 2 seasons, he transferred for his final year of eligibility to play for Oregon, where he was a second-team All-Pac-12 selection for a 12-2 Ducks team. That consistency with 2 college programs, along with some really strong pre-draft athletic testing numbers, allowed Williams to generate some legitimate buzz ahead of the 2024 draft, where the Packers picked him up in the 4th round. Despite being a day 3 pick, Williams quickly worked his way onto the field, playing in 13 games with 6 starts as a rookie. The expectation for this year was that Williams would build on a really strong rookie season and develop into a more well-rounded player, but he's taken a massive jump in his second season. The 24-year-old's numbers have gone up in virtually every category, but it's the consistency that has been even more impressive. The numbers do not tell the whole story when it comes to Williams' impact on Jeff Hafley's defense. So let's break down his tape from Thursday's big win over the Lions on Thanksgiving to show you just how impactful he is for this unit in today's episode of Best Available. Hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode and are not following the channel already, make sure that you subscribe. You can also follow us on socials at BestAvailableYT. And if you're a recurring viewer, consider becoming a member as a way to support the channel. I'll leave details to that in the episode description. But why don't we go ahead and dive into Evan Williams, the unsung hero on this Packers defense. One of the things that's really been standing out to me with Evan Williams this year and how he's being utilized is that Jeff Hafley really trusts him to play similar responsibilities to Xavier McKinney. There's no reason anymore for Evan Williams to not be on the football field. I know Javon Bullard will still play the slot at times, but Williams has really just solidified himself as the primary and full-time starter alongside Xavier McKinney. So we're going to have both of those guys, McKinney and Williams, on the backside on this 2 high safety look. And we're going to have, a little motion as we get to the line. And what we're going to try and do is try and throw the Lions off here by having Williams step down, right? He's stepping down, and, when you typically see a safety stepping down, they're either going to become a hole defender and, oversee the middle of the field, or they're going to buzz into a zone drop and cover, a hook curl zone. Or potentially, we have these guys dropping into similar zones. So, we're getting a pre-snap tell in theory here, right? So we have that shift. Goff sees it. He recognizes the safety stepping down. He's pointing at a linebacker, but in reality, he is reacting to Williams stepping down. But what I like and what Hafley does a great job of, again, he trusts Williams right here, a lot more than he did his rookie year, which, he had a solid rookie year. He's really come alive. I genuinely think this is a Pro Bowl caliber safety right now. But Williams steps down, and at the snap, we're actually going to rotate these safeties. So instead of, Williams playing this buzz down defender, we're actually going to have McKinney buzz down, and then we're going to have Williams abort and get into a single high safety look, react to these crossers. And the other thing I notice here with that, Williams looks way faster this year and more fluid as an athlete. Always been a pretty solid downhill defender, but as far as rotating here, good hip turns, looks clean, has the play speed to carry. It's a blown up play, not really because, I guess a little because of the coverage, but more so just because of a great pressure from Micah off screen. But I did just want to show this as far as Hafley is clearly trusting Williams to disguise these safety looks. And the fact that they, so much of the time they've spent is putting McKinney as the steep safety, but Williams is such a versatile chess piece now that they do not have to completely rely on McKinney as just a single high safety look on plays like this. And I just wanted to show that to get the play going as far as how much more Hafley is trusting Williams, to play different roles. When you think of physical box safeties, I don't know if Williams exactly feels or fits that mold at 5'11", 200 pounds, but man, is this guy powerful and just patently unafraid of contact. And that's the biggest trait you need for a guy that's willing to play in the box at the safety position and fit the run and all of that. This is one of my favorite plays of the game. It will not show up on the stat sheet, but it is Williams climbing downhill, reacting to the run. But I want you to pay attention to how he takes on this blocker. This blocker is trying to crack down on him, create a seal, because if we get a cutback with Gibbs, who is so good at this, any kind of block on the perimeter from a receiver, sealing off a safety can be a home run. Williams triggers downhill. He sees the run, and out of his peripheral, he's going to notice this block. And he feels it coming, and he just throws that shoulder into the blocker, knowing it's coming, and just absolutely, he pancakes the blocker, trying to pancake him. Like, I know he gets off balance, and theoretically he gets blown up out of the play, but this is exactly the kind of physicality I want from a safety that's going to be a run first defender, which Williams has really become. That's setting a statement early in a game that you're going to try and block me and climb to the safety spot to seal me off, but like you better be ready to take some contact if you do that. That's just a tone setter early in this game that I absolutely love, and something you would not expect from a player of Williams' build, but this guy just absolutely loves contact. When it comes to fitting the run, I really don't know if anyone has a harder job than a safety, and that's coming from a former linebackers coach. At least D-line, you have a certain gap you got to fill. With linebackers, yes, you do have to be a bit creative and be able to go off script, but you do have your gap assignments. You got to be able to read the guard, the fullback. It is a little tricky. You're thinking a lot, but I just think physically, alley defenders as a safety right here with Williams. There's so much space you have to cover on a theoretical run. You are the last line of defense. You can't miss your tackle. You got to take the right pursuit angles. And above all else, if you want to be a really good run defending safety, you have to make plays closer to the line of scrimmage instead of 5, 10, 15 yards downfield. And Williams, is just so good at timing this up and feeling these gaps. So as we run this, he sees the run look, he sees the blockers, he sees he's going to have, theoretically 2 gaps to cover here with the way the linebackers are going. So Williams flies downhill. He's able to get to this landmark faster than the wide receiver trying to block him is able to climb to him. So he gets underneath that block, which is pivotal, and he gets there fast enough that he helps with Wyatt to blow up this play on the cutback attempt. You can make yourself right and make your job a lot easier by triggering downhill fast enough. Because Williams is here at the point of contact. If we rewind to this, let's say this run play gets cut back faster or Williams is a little slower and suddenly, he's having to cover right around this depth. He's going to have to deal with a blocker to potentially allow a bounce outside. Or the guy could cut back this way, and it's Gibbs. He's an incredibly fast, twitchy running back. Safeties that are slow to trigger as run defenders can make things really bad against an explosive running back like Gibbs. But Williams, man, I was expecting the linebackers to have to play a big role to contain Gibbs, but the way Williams played in this game, look, he's so fast triggering downhill, he beats the wide receiver to their landmark on this block and helps fill this alley. It is one of the big reasons. Yes, Gibbs had a couple big plays. It's one of the big reasons Gibbs didn't gash them for 250, 260 yards in this game. We just talked about it last play, but pursuit angles are so important for safeties, especially when, attacking a speed threat. And we're going to get something like that here. We've just got an end around to Jamison Williams, which is going to make this a little tricky. And those end arounds, if you get overcommitted to the run and, Jamison starts cutting out here, there can be a lot of issues with blockers, but Williams takes the right pursuit angle because you have this wall of humanity, all of these blockers trying to climb to DBs, and that's naturally a horrible situation to be in. But Williams, right here, reads this quickly that it's an end around, hustles over, beats all of those blocks to their spots. Nixon does a really nice job on the outside as well, and by then they are able to successfully blow up the end around play. But I just love Williams' hustle and pursuit angles here. We can start it from the beginning on this play. Yeah, maybe he bites a little bit on that run at first. We have right here. Yeah, he might bite a little bit at first on that inside run play, but once he realizes that it's an end around, being able to get around that wall of blockers, trust that his teammates are going to be assignment sound, including Nixon, and they're able to blow up that for a big negative play. That's just really well disciplined football and a nice pursuit angle to avoid getting washed out. Because if he gets washed out and then maybe Nixon gets sealed off, that's probably a touchdown. We've got that backside pursuit again from Williams on this play. We're going to have this outside run, and Montgomery's going to try and cut it back. It's a really nice job from Williams to, show hustle on this backside pursuit. And you can see his shoulders are turned, his hips are turned. And one of my worries when you're backside pursuing and you're going this fast with your hips turned, a lot of guys can over pursue instead of gearing down. And it allows the cutback with, even less help to the cutback, right? But Williams does such a good job here on this backside pursuit. Again, Williams right here. Is that he gears down right there. You can see that he slows down his feet. He dips underneath this blocker right here. And then he pops David Montgomery, one of these power backs. The running back has the clear size advantage here, but Williams sneaks under there, gets underneath the chin strap of Montgomery and, punishes him a little bit. But the fact that Williams backside pursues and is able to gear down so quickly around that block, I think is what makes this play so impressive for me. Not over pursuing on backside pursuit and then, really punishing Montgomery for trying to cut back on him. Just a really nice textbook play. And you see the recurring theme of the few plays we've shown so far. This guy is faster than the blockers trying to get to him. And it's consistently how he keeps ending up in these winning situations and why I keep going to say it again. I think he is a Pro Bowl safety with the way he's playing right now because of that. You want to talk about motor and effort on a play. Evan Williams definitely checks those boxes right here. We're going to have, a run designed to be almost a counter from shotgun from Gibbs here. And you're going to notice Williams react to that and start flying downhill. So he triggers down there, quickly realizes Gibbs trying to cut back. So Gibbs starts cutting back. No one's able to get to him. Williams just takes the right angle instead of trying to go here. He's never going to win a foot race at this angle with Gibbs. He's just trying to go laterally, hope some of his teammates try and slow down Gibbs a little, which they do. They trip him up. And then just a clean tackle technique from Williams. But if you watch this play in full nonstop, Williams' effort to get around this play, change direction, take the right angle, this ends up being a 0-yard gain for Gibbs, all because Williams is just hauling ass all over the field to wrap him up. That's just great effort, instincts, angle, and then a really, really clean tackle on Gibbs. Just this is the hustle that the Packers need in the secondary to clean up stuff. Like, he is such a huge factor in why the Lions' run game wasn't able to get going, because he's just flying all over the field like this to erase potentially dangerous, big, busted off-script plays. This is a solid play from Williams here. I think this is where he can get even better as in coverage. You know how we showed that first play of that, rotated safety look where he stepped down and then became the free safety while McKinney buzzed down. We're going to do the opposite this time. Williams is going to buzz down underneath zone drop, and then McKinney's going to be that free safety. So we rotate the safeties at the snap. Williams is buzzing down here. Does a nice job here, what I appreciate. He's in his zone drop. He's stepping down on this receiver, and then notices Goff rolling out this way. And I get it. Williams wants to make sure he prevents that scramble. But I think if he's keeping a better eye on, obviously Goff's not supposed to throw across his body. Quarterbacks still do it. I think if Williams is a bit more locked in here, he could jump this or, close that gap a little bit more. But regardless, it's a nice job of, moving his zone with the scramble and then making a tackle to make sure that at the very least the receiver does not get the first down. Now, they get the first down in the next play, but there's no guarantee that's going to happen every time. So I think it's a solid play. I just think it's a play where maybe Williams can get even better in these zone drops, is potentially baiting Goff to make this bad throw. I think if I can pause at the right moment right here, could close this gap between him and the receiver a little bit more as this zone is scrambling. And I think maybe, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not sure what they're coaching on the Green Bay coaching staff, but I think a little more instincts, he could bait this and potentially, turn this into a big interception. Lions are going to run another outside zone here. We've got Williams as the safety up high. He's going to alley fill and trigger downhill. We have the motions, not afraid. He's triggering downhill, getting there fast, gets around a block, and then he's lowering his pads, and he pops and shoots his hands. Packers fans saw Carrington Valentine and what happens when you don't shoot your hands on a tackle attempt. And that's how Jameson Williams got that big touchdown before the half. But just love the way he's able to get around blocks, read things, understand where he's going to fill, where the running back's trying to go. And then he's just staying low and getting nice pop, driving his legs through contact too. Right here, you can see he's shooting his arms. His pads are lower than Gibbs. And then he's carrying or driving his feet, letting the teammates get there. Really nice fill at the line of scrimmage, no less. The ability to get all the way downfield, downhill, meet the ball carrier right at the line is just really impressive work from Williams this year. This might have been one of the biggest plays of the day from Williams, who's going to be here. He's going to blitz. He times up the blitz extremely well on this, keeps triggering. He feels this gap wide open, right? So he doesn't waste any time. He gets downhill, and then he just wraps those hamstrings. We call this a hawk and roll technique. When you're flying downhill, using your momentum, have that shoulder on the near hip, wrap at the hamstrings, use your gravity, drop it and roll. It's not a hip drop tackle, but you are using your gravity and wrapping at those hamstrings to bring the ball carrier down. And even when that doesn't end up, always working, you got to make sure you wrap down at that ankle, not trying to twist the ankle, but simply stop, the ball carrier from breaking your tackle attempt. I love the blitz timing to get through that gap, but I also just love that technique on the tackle to make another huge play in the run game. Just a really impactful player all around in this game. Last play we're going to show is just great instincts from William on this. We got him right here. We've got this wildcat with Montgomery. Jared Goff's lined up out wide up here. And, early in the game, Montgomery scored on one of these. It was a touchdown. Here, we're going to try a little pop pass to this tight end, and Williams does a great job, who is right here, of snuffing that play out. So you're running, he sets it up. He's a high school quarterback, so you got to know there's a threat to pass at any time. Williams understands that. He did the pregame prep, sees the tight end leaking out, gets in front of that, and attacks that football. Huge play near the red zone. Just great instincts to prevent that pass from, going into the end zone. Especially after you got beat with a rushing touchdown out of the same Wildcat formation, the ability to be aware that this might be coming is just a nice play from Williams. I hope this video really emphasized what I'm talking about as far as Williams' presence. The stat sheet's not doing it justice. This is an extremely impactful box safety who can play high. He can play in the slot. He can play in coverage. His superpower right now is against the run, though. This is a guy that's, fitting well. He's attacking blockers. He's wrapping up. He's getting downhill so quickly, blockers can't catch up to him. This is an extremely impactful player in Jeff Hafley's defense that was not getting near enough love. So if you enjoyed this video, share it wherever you are on socials. Subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about his impact. And we'll be back again next week after another slate of games. So enjoy the Thanksgiving weekend. Have a very nice and relaxing time, and we will see you next week. Take care. Thank you for watching.